You think you lack discipline, but that's not it either. What's actually happening is way more serious, and almost nobody talks about it. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why you feel drained every single day, and more importantly, what to do about it. Miss this, and you'll keep wondering why nothing changes, no matter how hard you try. And before we go any further, if you've ever felt tired and guilty for being tired, this video is for you. Let me paint you a picture. It's Tuesday morning. Your alarm goes off and you hit snooze once, twice, 3 times. When you finally drag yourself out of bed, you already feel exhausted. Not physically tired, but something deeper, like your soul is running on fumes. You brush your teeth while scrolling TikTok because silence feels unbearable. You make coffee not because you want it, but because you need it to function. And before 9 in the morning, you've already checked your phone dozens of times, responded to messages you didn't want to answer, and felt guilty about everything you're not doing. Sound familiar? Good. Because today we're breaking down exactly what's stealing your energy, why the so-called solutions don't work, and what actually does. And stay with me, because around the middle of this video, I'm going to give you one sentence that explains why you're exhausted but can't sleep, and once you hear it, your whole week is going to make sense. Here's what nobody tells you. You're not just tired, you're experiencing soul-level exhaustion. There's a massive difference between physical tiredness and what you're going through. Physical tiredness is simple. You sleep and you recover. But this is different. This is waking up already defeated. This is feeling nothing during moments that should move you. This is scrolling until 3 in the morning, not because you care about what you're seeing, but because your brain is terrified of stillness. Your nervous system has been on high alert for so long that it forgot what calm feels like. You're living in a constant state of low-grade panic, where fight or flight became your default setting. And your body is screaming for rest, but you keep pushing because you think that's what you're supposed to do. You call it adulting, but what you're really doing is abandoning yourself. Think about this. Your ancestors faced real threats, like predators, rival tribes, and actual survival situations. Their stress response would activate, they'd handle the threat, and then it would turn off. Your stress response never turns off. You're getting the same cortisol spike from a work email that your great-great-grandfather got from a predator, except the email doesn't leave. It waits, it multiplies, and your body can't tell the difference. That's why you're exhausted. Not because you're weak and not because you lack willpower, but because you're biologically wired for short bursts of stress and you've been living in a permanent state of it for years. Some people will say just toughen up or that everyone's stressed and you're not special. And while stress is universal, what they're missing is the volume and the relentlessness. It's not that we're weaker, it's that the machine never stops. So let me ask you this. Do you only feel calm when you're distracted? Now, let's talk about the 5 energy thieves you're inviting into your life every single day. And pay close attention to number 4, because that's the one most people refuse to admit. The first energy thief is people-pleasing. If you answer texts immediately, even when you're exhausted, this is for you. You say yes when every part of you wants to say no. You go to events you hate and help people who wouldn't help you. And every time you do this, a piece of your energy walks out the door. Most people you're bending over backward for wouldn't even notice if you stopped. You think you're being kind, but really you're being a doormat with a smile. Every yes you didn't mean is future exhaustion you did choose. So ask yourself, who drains you more? Someone you love or someone you fear? The second energy thief is fake productivity. Your calendar is packed, your to-do list is color-coded, and you've got apps telling you how to be efficient, but you're busy without moving forward. You're responding to emails while avoiding the work that actually matters. This is motion without progress, and busy is often just fear wearing a calendar. Ask yourself, what's the one thing you keep avoiding because it actually matters? The third energy thief is constant comparison. You open Instagram, and within seconds, your life feels like a discount version of everyone else's highlight reel. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their edited footage. They don't post the anxiety attacks, the debt, or the dread at 2 in the morning. You're measuring your worth against a carefully curated lie and competing with an edited version of someone who's also struggling. The fourth energy thief is unspoken resentment, and this one is heavy. It's anger you never expressed, boundaries you never set, and truth you swallowed to keep the peace. You say it's fine when it's absolutely not fine. That emotion doesn't disappear. It sits inside you and drains you from the inside out. Resentment is a debt, and you're the one paying the interest. Ask yourself what conversation you're still carrying in your body. The fifth energy thief is clutter. Not just the laundry pile, but the 37 browser tabs, the unread emails, and the group chats you mute but never leave. Clutter isn't mess, it's unfinished decisions screaming at your brain. You might be thinking you need to stay on top of everything, but ask yourself if it's actually necessary or if letting go just feels scary. I once noticed this with a friend who kept every email, every notification, and every group chat active because she thought if she let go, she'd miss something important. One day, her phone died for 3 days, and nothing happened. The world kept spinning, the important people reached out in other ways, and for the first time in years, she felt like she could breathe. Sometimes what you think you need is the very thing that's suffocating you. I know this is a lot, and if you're seeing yourself in every one of these, you're not being attacked, you're being seen. And sometimes being seen is uncomfortable because we've been hiding for so long. Stay with me, because this is where things start to shift. You're not lazy, so stop calling yourself that. Lazy means I don't care, and you care too much. Lazy people don't lie awake, replaying conversations, and they don't feel guilty about resting. You're not lazy, you're leaking. Like a phone stuck at 17% no matter how long it charges, or a bucket with holes in the bottom. You can pour all the motivation, willpower, and coffee in the world into yourself. But if you don't fix the leaks, nothing sticks. When your phone won't charge, you don't blame the phone, you check the cable and the outlet. But when you can't function, you blame yourself and call yourself weak, broken, or lazy. But what if it's not you? What if it's the inputs you've been accepting and the energy you've been giving to things that give nothing back? We live in a world that celebrates output but ignores input. Produce more, post more, hustle harder. Meanwhile, your soul is sitting in the corner asking if you remember joy or peace, and you're telling it to shut up because you have emails. And here's the sentence I promised you. You're tired, but you can't sleep because your body is resting while your mind never stopped running. You're feeding your brain stress at bedtime and then wondering why it won't power down. You don't have a sleep problem, you have a safety problem. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. Some of the things you think are helping you cope are actually keeping you stuck. At night, you doom scroll. Your body is still, but your brain is sprinting through a horror movie, so your nervous system stays activated. Morning comes and you force yourself awake with caffeine because you never recovered. By midday, you're irritable and foggy, so you numb with Netflix, snacks, or constant busyness. And when emotions try to surface, you slap on toxic positivity and say you're fine. Nothing gets processed, and the loop resets again tonight. Be honest, which part of that loop is yours? Overthinking disguised as planning isn't preparation. It's torturing yourself with imaginary scenarios. Numbing instead of healing doesn't mean you're better. It means you're avoiding. Buried emotions don't disappear. They grow teeth. Real healing starts with brutal honesty, saying I'm not okay right now, and that's okay. So, what do you actually do? How do you stop leaking and start living? These steps are simple but not easy. The first is learning to say no without explaining yourself. Because no is a complete sentence, and every yes you give when you mean no robs future you of peace. The second is protecting your mornings. Because the first thing you touch shouldn't be your phone. Give yourself 10 minutes without screens or noise so your nervous system can wake up without panic. The third is unfollowing, muting, and leaving what drains you. Because if something makes you feel smaller, it's not inspiration, it's self-punishment. The fourth is making rest non-negotiable. Not scrolling rest, but real rest. Doing nothing without guilt. The fifth step is getting 1 square inch of control. Think of 3 things draining your energy right now. Then pick the one that would reduce the most noise in the next 10 minutes. Not the one that looks impressive, but the one that creates silence, because that's where healing starts. The sixth step is practicing the discomfort of disappointing people. You will disappoint people when you protect your peace, and that's okay. The people who only like the exhausted version of you will fall away, and that's a blessing disguised as heartbreak. The seventh step is letting boring become your sanctuary. Peace isn't glamorous. Sometimes peace is a Friday night with no plans, a phone on Do Not Disturb, and an early bedtime. That's not boring, that's healing. Now I know what you're thinking. If you stop rushing, fixing, pleasing, and performing, who are you? You're you, the real you. And that version of you deserves space, softness, and silence. Here's the final truth. You are not broken. Broken means something is permanently wrong, and that's not what's happening. You're overstimulated, dealing with too much noise, too much pressure, and too many tabs open in your brain. You weren't designed to live like this. Your exhaustion isn't weakness, it's information. It's your body saying it can't keep doing this, and your soul saying there's something better. Not more productive, just more true. That part of you is still here and still waiting. So take one deep breath right now. That awareness you feel is you, still here and still fighting. You don't need permission to rest, and you don't need to earn peace. You were never broken. So let me ask you one last thing. What's the one thing you're most afraid to let go of? The person, habit, or belief that's draining you, but you're scared to release? If this felt like it was speaking directly to you, leave a comment. Even just saying, "I felt this." You're not alone. Share this with someone who's quietly falling apart while smiling through it. Not because I need views, but because they need to know they're not broken. Subscribe if you want to keep going deeper. And until then, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think.